Okay, sige, balikan natin yung unang example natin for elimination of arbitrary constants. Okay, so ano ulit yung rule natin? How to obtain a differential equation? Can you hear me, guys?
Apo. Yes po.
Sorry. Kumain na kayo?
Apo.
Di pa, sir.
Oh, my bad. Sige. May paper kayo tsaka pen, paper and pen, so you can solve while napakita ko yung mga solutions dun sa ibang examples.
Yes po.
Okay? Kasi mas maganda na kayo mismo nakakapag-practice din mag-solve. But just like sa room, iba sa inyo, di ba, nagsusulat, okay? So maganda rin yung ganong habit. So as they say, writing is the last form of learning. So let's just recall. So one major rule for us to be able to arrive at a differential equation is, okay, we should differentiate the given solution or the given equation or relation as many times depending on the number of arbitrary constants present in the equation. Okay, that's the main rule. And after that, if in the resulting equation has, or you can see still arbitrary constants, then, and that's the time that you are going to manipulate or to work on the resulting equation and utilize the other equations to determine or to eliminate the arbitrary constants. Okay, again, so we differentiate as many times the number of arbitrary, as many times depending on the number of arbitrary constants in the equation, and then the resulting DE must not contain an arbitrary constant. So kung meron pa dong arbitrary constant, so you must be able to eliminate arbitrary constants in the differential equation. Okay, just like this example, ito na I-discuss ko na last time ito. So we have this given solution wherein you can see three arbitrary constants here, C sub 1, C sub 2, and C sub 3. So, ibig sabihin, if you are to obtain its differential equation, you need to differentiate this equation 3 times. Okay? So 3 arbitrary constants means this solution is a third order differential equation. I mean, the differential equation of this solution is a third order DE because you will undergo 3 differentiation. I mean, we'll differentiate this 3 times. So differentiating this for the first time, we have y prime equals 2c sub 1 times x. Bakit naging 2c sub 1 times x? Because the derivative of x squared is 2x. And for the second term, we have c sub 2x. If you are to differentiate this, you copy c sub 2 and differentiate x, so times 1. And the last term here is c sub 3. So if you differentiate this, that's 0 kasi constant. Now you still have to differentiate this for 2 differentiations pa yung gagawin mo dito. So the derivative of this equation will be y prime becomes y double prime. And this term here, you copy 2c sub 1 and then differentiate mo yung x, so times 1 ka dito. And then the last term will be derivative of c sub 2 is 0. So ito yung pangalawang result ng pag-differentiate natin. And finally, you have y triple prime after differentiating y double prime, and then differentiate the right-hand side kung saan constant, so the result of that is 0. So as you can see, this resulting equation does not contain arbitrary constants. So it means that this is now your final answer for this particular solution or this given solution that contains three arbitrary constants. So, but this is not always the case that once you have undergone differentiations, you will no longer see arbitrary constants in the final answer. So, hindi ganun yun hindi laging nangyayari yung ganun na case. So, we have examples to show you that um, how you can be able to eliminate the arbitrary constants if that thing happens na after you have undergone differentiation, still you can see arbitrary constants in the resulting equation. So yan kasi yung criteria natin or the characteristic of a differential equation. Okay, so I have here a video of some of the examples that I have solved. Okay, so the first one here is obtain the differential equation of this given solution y equals a times cosine of x plus b. Okay, so take notice of the arbitrary constants here. So you have a and b. So it means that for me to be able to arrive at this differential equation, I must differentiate this twice or two times. Okay, so again, it doesn't necessarily result to after differentiation, tanggal na kaagad yung arbitrary constant. So hindi ganun lagi yung case. So pag nangyari na meron pang arbitrary constants, you must do something about the equation. You can utilize the previous equations for you to arrive at its differential equation free from arbitrary constants. Okay, so let's start differentiating this one. So the left-hand side is y. So the derivative of that is y prime. And on the right-hand side, you have a cosine of x plus b. So the derivative of cosine is negative sign, right? So you copy a and then negative sign of x plus b. X plus b is the argument of this trivial function. And you differentiate x plus b, and that is times 1. Okay. Now, so we have to differentiate again because of the fact that this equation contains two arbitrary constants. Now, the derivative of this will be, so you copy negative a, derivative of sine is positive cosine, and then yeah, cosine of x plus b, and then differentiate x plus b, and that is, yeah, times 1 because of our independent variable is x. Now, as you can see, the resulting equation still contains arbitrary constants. So you have to eliminate the arbitrary constants. So as you notice, the given equation here, y is equal to a cosine of x plus b. Ayan, nakita nyo dito sa ating final equation that you can see a cosine of x plus b but of different sign. So what you will do is, of course, you utilize this first equation. You substitute na yung a times cosine of x plus b is equal to y. Therefore, by doing that, we're able to eliminate the arbitrary constant. So we have y double prime equals negative y, or you can transpose negative y to the left-hand side. So you have y double prime plus y equals 0. Okay, so this is now the differential equation for this given equation or example. Okay, so any question? None? Okay, now let's proceed to this example. So we have a given solution or equation y equals c sub 1 e raised to x plus, okay, plus c sub 2 e raised to negative x. Now, so yung unang gagawin mo is you count the number of arbitrary constants present in the equation. So there are two arbitrary constants. We have c sub 1 and c sub 2. So it means that for you to be able to obtain its differential equation, you must differentiate this given equation 2 times. Okay, so we have the first derivative of this equation is y prime equals Again, recall how to differentiate an exponential function. So c sub 1 e raised to x, and then differentiate x as yung power ng exponential function. So that is 1. And then for the second term, you have yung c sub 2, you just copy c sub 2. And then differentiate e raised to negative x, and that is you copy e raised to negative x and differentiate negative x, which is equal to negative 1. So that's why you have minus c sub 2 e raised to negative x. Okay, so and finally, for the second time, so you are to differentiate this given this equation. So that this becomes y double prime equals c sub 1 e raised to x. Okay, c sub 2 e raised to negative x. Differentiate negative x, so you have negative. So negative times negative, you have positive here. Okay, so we're done with the differentiation rule. The next one is, of course, so that given na dapat yung final answer mo. I mean, your final answer should be a second order because of two arbitrary constants. However, meron ka pang nakikitang arbitrary constants dito. So again, you have to eliminate these arbitrary constants. So you can refer to the previous equations that you have. So pwede yung first derivative kung merong similarities, or yung first equation may similarity dun sa mismong final equation mo. So, okay, looking at these equations, and you can see that the first equation and the last are equal, di ba? So it means our final answer will be y. Okay, ganun lang yan. Y double prime is equal to y. Okay, so any questions? None? Okay, madali lang, no? Easy
Yes, po.
peasy. Okay, so great job. Now let's go to the next example. Okay, and somehow similar sila, pero tingnan mo yung exponential function. So this, ito e raised to 2x. Ito naman is e raised to negative 3x. So tingnan natin to. Now we have two arbitrary constants here. So this means that for you to arrive at its DE, kailangan natin siyang i-differentiate ng dalawang beses. Okay, so for the first derivative of the given equation, so we have y, derivative ng y is y prime, and then equal yan sa first term natin, c sub 1 is a constant or arbitrary constant, so you copy that, and then differentiate e raised to 2x, so you copy e raised to 2x, and then differentiate 2x, which is times 2. Now, for the second term, we have c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x, so you copy c sub 2, and then differentiate e raised to negative 3x. So you copy that and then differentiate minus 3x, which is negative 3. So you have your first equation. Now the next part will be to differentiate again. So y double prime, you copy c sub 1 constant, and then differentiate e raised to 2x. Okay, and derivative of 2x is 2. So 2 times 2, multiply mo sa coefficient, yan, 4. And then here we have c sub 2, e raised to minus 3x. You differentiate minus 3x, so that's minus 3. Minus 3 times minus 3, you have positive 9. So this will be your second equation, or you can label that as equation number 2. Now, so tigil ka na doon. Hanggang doon lang yung pag-differentiate mo. Hindi na mag-differentiate ka ulit hanggang sa gusto mo lang. So again, reminder to everyone. So bawal kayo mag-differentiate lang kung hanggang kailan yung gusto mo hanggat matanggal nyo. Yung requirement is that kung ilan yung arbitrary constants, yun din kung ilang beses ka lang mag-differentiate. So we are done with the differentiation rule now, or the differentiation step. So we have to do something with these equations. Pwede mo siyang, so it depends on what is more convenient to you. So you can eliminate C sub 1 first, solving C sub 2, or you can eliminate C sub 2, solving for C sub 1. Okay, so whichever, kung ano yung gusto mong unahin. So as you can see dun sa final equation natin, you have 4 c sub 1 e raised to 2x and plus 9 c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. So as you notice here, um, yung coefficient ni e raised to minus 3x, di ba? Magkaiba yung sign nila. So ano yung gagawin natin para ma-eliminate natin tong part na to? We can introduce, di ba, a factor. You can multiply the entire equation 1 by positive 3 para magpareho sila. Magkaroon ka ng parang, you can see, di ba, that there are similar terms, thus solving for c sub 1. Okay? Now let's do this. So we solve first for c sub 1 and eliminating c sub 2. Okay, step by step lang. C sub 1 e raised to 2x. So to do that, we will multiply the entire equation 1 by 3. So equation 1 times 3. And after doing that, we add equation 2. Okay. Now let's do this. So 3 times y prime. Okay, take note, equation 1. So we have 3 y prime equals, and 3 times 2, you have for the first term 6 c sub 1 e raised to 2x. And then 3 times negative 3, you have minus 9 c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. So this is now the result of multiplying equation 1 by 3. And then you add equation 2, which is y double prime equals 4 c sub 1 e raised to positive 2x plus 9 c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. So as you notice, there are similar terms. So you can combine them and so the objective of this is to eliminate one of the constants, arbitrary constants. So 3y prime plus y double prime, just copies, wala namang similar terms dun sa left-hand side. 6 plus 4, so you have 10 c sub 1 e raised to positive 2x. And then minus 9 plus 9, makancel na natin yung part na yan ng ating equation. So solving for c sub 1 e raised to 2x, so may coefficient na 10 dyan. So we divide both sides by 10, giving us c sub 1 e raised to positive 2x equals, okay, so copy natin 3y prime plus y double prime, okay, all over 10. So this is now the value of c sub 1 e raised to 2x. Now working on the other part to eliminate c sub 1. So we solve c sub 2. We solve for c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. So ang ginawa ko dito is kinopya ko muna yung first two equations kasi hindi natin mabalikan mamaya. Now, so to do that, we will multiply the entire equation 1 by, so ano yung gusto mo? Pwede mo kasing i-subtract yung dalawang equations, di ba? Provided that pareho yung coefficients ni e raised to 2x. Okay? So it's either you multiply it by 2 and then subtract equation 2, or you multiply equation 1 by minus 2 and then you add equation 2. Okay, para magkaiba sila ng sign. So here we multiply equation 1 by negative 2 and then we add equation 2 after. Okay, so first multiply the entire equation 1 by negative 2. So we have minus 2y prime equals minus 4 c sub 1 e raised to 2x. And then minus 2 times minus 3, you have positive 6 c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. Okay, ito na yung result ng after natin ma-multiply yung equation 1 by minus 2. And then we add equation 2, y double prime equals, just copy, 4c sub 1 e raised to 2x plus, okay, 9 c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. Okay, so add lang natin sila, combining like terms here. So minus 2y prime and minus 2y prime plus y double prime equals, so minus 4 plus 4, makancel na natin yung c sub 1. And then 6 plus 9, you have 15, c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. Okay, so solving for c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x, we divide both sides. And by 15, okay, wait, may nakalimutan tayo ditong part. Okay, so it should be c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. Okay, go ahead, Sir Phil. Go. Okay, so divide both sides by 15. So you have minus 2y prime plus y double prime all over, yeah, 15. Now we have now c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. Okay, and then we substitute the value of c sub 1 e raised to 2x and the value of c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x to our given equation. So if you recall, y is equal to yung given natin, c sub 1 e raised to 2x plus c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x. So ganun lang, i-plug in the values of these expressions. So we have y equals, what's the value of c sub 1 e raised to 2x? If you recall, that's 3y prime plus y double prime. Okay, all over 10. And then the value of c sub 2 e raised to minus 3x is, that is minus 2 y prime plus y double prime all over 15. So as you can see, wala na ka nang makitang arbitrary constant dyan, di ba? So yan na yung final answer mo. Sana kung na-simplify mo yan, pero you have to simplify. You must simplify your final answer. Okay? So yun yung next na gagawin. Minsan yung ibang mga students, doon sila nadadali sa pag-simplify. Tama yung proseso. Nakapag-differentiate sila. Okay, pero pagdating na doon sa final answer, because hindi nga simplified. So ayun lang. Doon sila nagkakamali. I will simplify this one. Okay, so far any questions? So habang kinokopya ko yung equation natin. May tanong ba? So far, wala namang tanong. Nasundan ba ninyo? 3y prime plus y double prime over 10. Okay, so gawin mo yung least common multiple nila or factor. So, para matanggal natin yung denominator natin and 15. So, the least common is 30 multiple. So, multiply the entire equation by 30. So, we have 30y sa left-hand side equals 30 divided by 10. So, you have 3 times 3y prime plus y double prime. Okay, so plus, again, 30 divided by 15 is 2 times minus 2y prime plus y double prime. Ayan na. Okay, so we distribute yung 3 and 2 dun sa first and second terms. So 3 times 3 is 9, y prime 3 times y double prime is 3y double prime plus 2 times negative 2 is minus 4y prime. 2 times y double prime is 2y double prime. Then combine mo yung like terms. You have y double prime, y double prime, y prime, and y prime. So copy lang 30y equals 9y prime minus 4y prime is positive 5y prime. 3 plus 2 is 5y double prime. Okay? So ayan na, na-simplify na natin, but may common pa rin sa kanila. Yung 5, divide both sides by 5. You have 30 divided by 5 is 6y equals, yan na. So y prime plus y double prime. So this is now your final answer, or you can arrange from the highest derivative up to the least. So you have y double prime plus y prime minus 6y, transpose mo lang yung 6y, equal to 0. So as you can see, the final answer does not contain an arbitrary constant. So second order siya because of two arbitrary constants na present do sa equation. Kasi dalawang beses ka nag-differentiate. Okay, now let's move on to the next example. May clarification ba doon sa previous one?
Sir, sir, tanong po.
Yes.
Is standard na po ba yun na naka-equate po siya sa 0 as final answer po?
Yes.
Ay, thank you po.
Okay. Any other questions? Inaayos ko lang siya talaga yung pinaka-final answer kasi yun yung kasi linear nga siya, di ba? So linear yung format niya. Pero importante is pinaka-importante dito is matanggal mo na yung arbitrary constant at ma-simplify mo yung sagot mo. So yung kanina, yung 6y plus y minus ano ba yun? 6y is equal to that. Pwede mo namang sabihin yun. Kaso nga lang, I'm trying to show you how to write your final answers in an organized manner. Okay? So, anyway. So let's proceed to this one. So x minus c sub 1 raised to 2 plus the quantity y minus c sub 2 raised to 2 equal to 1. So this example contains two arbitrary constants. It means that you are going to differentiate this twice. Okay? Now, another thing pala doon kanina sa tanong ni Mr. Amoroso. Ayan. Kaya siya naka-arrange para din for my para uniform yung mga sagot ninyo at makita ko na okay. So, although check ko naman talaga yung final answers. Kasi minsan, 'di ba, yung pag-transpose lang yung doon lang sa pag-transpose or yung ibang part ng equation na sa left-hand side or right-hand side. So, okay lang din naman 'yan. Anyway, let's differentiate this dalawang beses. Again, take note that y is our unknown function or our dependent variable. Kaya kapag dinifferentiate mo yung unknown function, so makita mo yung prime na notation dyan mamaya. Okay, now, let's continue. Yan, ito yung sinasabi ko na, di ba yung sa chain rule, differentiate mo to. So this is 2 times y minus c sub 2. Differentiate this part of the term. Derivative ni y minus c sub 2. So this is y prime minus 0. So kaya nag-multiply ka ng y prime dito. Dito naman, yung derivative nitong x minus c sub 1 is just 1 because of the independent variable na x. Okay, and then derivative of 1 here sa right-hand side mo is 0. Okay, so before you proceed to the next differentiation, pwede mo munang i-simplify or since may common do sa first and second term na 2, you can actually remove that by dividing both sides by 2 or multiply both sides by 1/2 para matanggalan natin yung 2. So x minus c sub 1 plus y minus c sub 2, okay, times y prime equal to 0. Okay? So, ito na yung ating equation 1. So, tandaan niyo first differentiation pa lang. So, you need to differentiate again. Yan, for the second and final time. So, you have derivative ni x is 1, derivative ni c sub 1 is 0, plus yung second term natin, naka-factor yan, di ba? Yung y minus c sub 2 times y prime. So, you can follow the product rule for differentiation. Ano yung product rule? U dv plus v times du. So here we copy y minus c sub 2 and then differentiate the other factors. So y prime becomes y double prime plus you copy y prime and differentiate mo yung y minus c sub 2 and that is Yeah, y prime. So y prime times y prime is equal to y prime squared. Okay, so this is now this should be this is supposedly our final answer. However, there is still an arbitrary constant. So kailangan nating matanggal yung arbitrary constant. So i-write ko muna 1 plus y minus c sub 2 times y double prime plus y prime squared. Okay, equals 0. Equation number 2. Okay, so what you will do here is you can solve for, okay, so pwede mong gamitin yung equation 2. Kung saan yung mas convenient, guys, na gagamitin niya. Okay, pwede mong gamitin yung equation 1, and then you substitute mo yung na-express mo na sagot doon sa equation 2, or gamitin mo yung equation 2, substitute mo doon sa equation number 1. So whichever is, kung ano lang yung gustong mong mauna. So here, ang gagamitin ko is equation number 2. I'll be solving for y minus c sub 2. So, after nyan, ang gagawin ko is substitute ko siya sa equation number 1. So, ganun lang. Solve for y minus c sub 2. So, ayusin ko lang tong equation 2. Express ko siya in terms of y minus c sub 2 equals. So, ganun. So, the rest of the terms on the left-hand side, transpose lang sa kabila. And copying ko muna yung y minus c sub 2 times y double prime. Transpose mo yung 1 and y prime squared to the right-hand side. So magiging minus 1 minus y prime squared. Okay, so ito, notation na to. So you can also write this y prime squared into this format. You need not to put parentheses. Understood na yun. Okay, so let's continue. Now, solving for y minus c sub 2, so kailangan natin matanggal yung y double prime there. That's why we divide both sides by y double prime. Now, we have y minus c sub 2 equals, since common yung negative sa dalawang terms natin, so factor out negative, we have 1 plus y prime squared all over y double prime. Okay. Adjust ng konti. So this is now our equation number 3. Okay? Yung result natin dito, we will substitute this dun sa equation number 1 para ma-solve natin yung x minus c sub 1. So yung pinaka-idea ko dito is gagamitin ko yung first equation. Dun ko lahat ipa-plug in yung mga nakuha ko na value ni y minus c sub 2 and x minus c sub 1. So that's the idea here of doing this step. Okay? So x minus c sub 1, just copy that. And then you plug in the value of y minus c sub 2, which is negative. So maglagay ka ng bracket, minus times 1 plus y prime squared. Okay, all over y double prime. And then nakamultiply siya sa y prime. Ito yun, equal to 0. Now, what we will do is we will solve for x minus c sub 1. So we transpose this term dun sa right-hand side. Okay? So we have x minus c sub 1 equal to, or equals, magiging positive na yan, di ba? So 1 plus y prime squared times y prime all over y double prime. So this is now, this will serve as our equation number 4, yung value ni x minus c sub 1. Okay, so yun yung pinaka-idea. We will utilize the final two equations. We'll plug in this given natin na equation. So this will serve as our equation number 4. And then we will substitute again these equations number 3 and 4 dun sa given natin na problem or equation, which is x pala minus c sub 1 raised to 2 plus the quantity y minus c sub 2 raised to 2 equal to 1. Okay, so we plug in equations 3 and 4. So we have, for x minus c sub 1, you have 1 plus y prime squared times y prime all over y double prime. And, okay, raised to the power of 2. Okay, ito lang yan. So, ginamit natin. And then you plug in here the value of y minus c sub 2, which is minus 1 times the quantity minus times the quantity 1 plus y prime squared. Okay, all over y double prime. Okay, equal to 1. Or don't forget, ito pala ay naka-raise to 2. So, kailangan raise to 2 din ito. Okay, so as you can see, this equation now does not contain arbitrary constants. Okay, so again, please put 2 here. Baka makalimutan. Ayan na pala. Okay, so the next step will be to simplify. Yan na yung pinaka-last na step natin to simplify. So we apply now itong exponent na to sa bawat term. So you copy 1 plus y prime squared raised to 2. The same dun sa kanyang factor na y prime. So magiging y prime squared siya. Yan. Ganun din sa denominator mo. So y double prime becomes y double prime squared. And for the second term, so pag in-square mo yung negative na expression, magiging positive yan. So 1 plus y prime squared raised to positive 2 all over y double prime squared equal to 1. Now, the next step will be to remove these denominators. Common naman sa kanila, di ba? So multiply both sides by y double prime squared. Thus we have, and so 1 plus y prime squared raised to 2 times y prime squared. Okay, plus second term natin, 1 plus y prime squared raised to 2 equal to y double prime squared sa right-hand side ng equation natin. Okay? Now, yan. So malapit na tayo sa final answer natin. As you can see, you have common, di ba, doon sa dalawang terms. We can factor out, di ba? Naka-factoring by grouping na siya na format. So ano yung nakita natin? So common yung 1 plus y prime squared raised to 2. So factor out lang natin. So you have, ang matitira sa unang term will be 1 y prime squared. Ang matitira dito is plus 1. Again, ang factor out natin is 1 plus y prime squared raised to 2. So dapat naka-raised to 2 ito. Okay, tama. Okay, nag-gets ba yung process na to, guys? Common yung 1 plus y prime squared, yan, raised to 2 sa dalawang terms. So ang ginawa natin is we factor out these expressions. Okay, so nung nilabas natin ito, ang natira sa unang term is y prime squared. Nung nilabas mo to, ang natira dito is 1. Okay, that's why, napansin niyo pareho lang to, di ba? Magkaiba lang yung nila, arrangement nila. So you can combine actually these factors. Okay? So you combine them, 1 plus y prime squared. Yan, law of exponents lang. The exponents will be added. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Equal to the right-hand side, the y double prime raised to 2. Ayan na. So we were able to simplify this differential equation, or you can arrange, and kung napansin niyo, di ba, naka-box na yung resulting equation, or you can actually arrange, di ba, from the highest derivative. So y double prime squared minus 1 plus y prime squared raised to 3 equal to 0. So either of the answers, yan, acceptable naman yan. Okay, any questions? Hello? Naintindihan ba? Meron ba kayong hindi mag-gets sa part na to?
Lahat po.
Yes?
Wala po.
Anong wala?
Wala pong question.
Sure?
Opo.
Kala ko hindi mo naintindihan.
Gets naman, sir.
Okay, thank you for that. How about the others? Baka nahiya lang kayo magtanong. Okay, since wala na kayong tanong, so that's the idea, no? Ng pag-eliminate ng arbitrary constant. So, ginagawa to para mag-arrive tayo sa kanyang differential equation. Kapag sinabing differential equation, it's an equation containing derivatives. Okay? So in this case, we are dealing with ordinary differential equations. So pag sinabing ordinary differential equations, it's a DE with ordinary derivatives kung saan yung unknown function depends on one independent variable. Ayan, so parang review na rin ha. Para sa quiz ninyo, at least clear na sa inyo yung mga bagay-bagay. And I'm expecting na lahat kayo makakapasa sa first quiz natin despite of this setup. I know that you will do your best. Okay? Lahat ng mga kaya niyo para pumasa. Hindi ito pananakot ha. So alam ko naman na you have madami naman kayong resources eh. So just do your best. Okay? So anyway, yung first quiz naman, so lahat naman kayang ma-perfect yung quiz na mga unang quiz. Now let's go to the next part ng ating topic for today, and that is the families of curves. Okay. The idea for this topic is that, yeah, an equation involving a parameter may represent a family of curves with one curve corresponding to each value of a parameter. So, dito yung mga problems naman dito is actually the same lang dito sa elimination of arbitrary constants. So, yun yung parang isa sa mga or yung problems na hinahanap dito. Hindi naman kayo parang you just have to sketch and present the equation. So hindi lang enough sa ganun na idea. You have to solve for the differential equation of the family of curves. That's another objective here. Okay, so let me just illustrate, give you an example of family of curves. Okay, so I think na-mention ko na rin to last time. So a family of concentric circles. Okay, in this case, pag sinabi kasing concentric circles, these are circles na merong isang center lang. So dapat kulang pa yung definition. Dapat concentric circles na yung center ay nasa origin. Okay. Now, identify mo kung ano yung parameter dito. Pag sinabing parameter na bawat value ng parameter na yan could represent, di ba, one curve. So as you can see in this equation, di ba, alalahanin mo yung equation ng circle. So x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So in this case, we utilized this symbol c for the radius. Okay, c squared. So ibig sabihin nito, yung bawat value ni c or ng radius represents one circle. Kasi nga, di ba, family of circles or lahat ng circles na yung center ay nasa origin. So, ibig sabihin, yung parameter doon is the radius. Kasi magkakaiba yung mga size ng mga circle na yan. Okay? May maliit, yan, may malaki. Yan, palaki ng palaki. Okay? Naintindihan na yung idea nito ng family of curves. So, you must be able to show or sketch or illustrate mo yung family of curves na yan. Kung ano man yung nabanggit doon. Para mas madali mong maintindihan or malaman kung ano yung mga parameters na involved. Tandaan niyo kung ilan yung number of parameters, yun din kung ilang beses ka mag-differentiate para mag-arrive ka doon sa kanyang differential equation. Clear? Everyone? Okay.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's better. How about yung iba? Sana gising pa kayo, no? Itong oras kasi ito nakakaantok eh. Anong oras na ba? Oh, 3:30 na. Okay, so let's solve problems involving families of curves. Now, find the DE for the given family of curves. Sketch representative family of curves. So, yung gagawin natin. I have here two examples para lang maintindihan nyo kung how to sketch or ano ba yung mga kailangan kong um, i-recall. Okay, para magawa ko tong problem na to. So, the first example here, we will find for the DE of the family of lines that passes through the origin. The second example is all circles whose center, so ano lang yun, same lang yun na sabi, all circles or family of circles. Okay, all circles whose centers are at the x-axis. So pwedeng yung variations ko dyan, pag nag-quiz na kayo, so pwedeng ibigay ko, all circles whose centers are at the y-axis. So kailangan marunong ka or alam mo kung ano yung equation na involved dito at alam mo kung ano yung parameter natin. Okay, so you have to sketch. Let's start equation with example number 1, a family of lines that passes through the origin. So i-drawing mo muna or alalahanin mo yung equation ng lines. Ano ba yung mga equation ng lines natin prior to sketching it. And then remove mo kung ano yung mga, diba baka may mga fix na dyan na ano. Okay. Wait lang, nag-jump siya. Okay. Continue lang, Sir Phil. So you remember yung slope-intercept form equation ng line? Alam niyo ba to? Baka bago to sa paningin niyo. Yes. So I have written here y is equal to mx plus b kung saan yung m is the slope and b is the intercept or y-intercept. Okay. So hindi pa ito yung final na equation na gagamitin ko para ma-solve ko yung DE. So I will sketch first para malaman ko kung ano ba, baka fix na yung slope or baka fix na yung intercept. But sabi nga, a family of lines that passes through the origin, ibig sabihin, yan, so papakita ko na yung drawing. So this is how you sketch. Lahat ng lines daw na dumaan sa origin. So ito yung sample ng graph nito. So ibig sabihin, may isa silang intercept. Okay, isa lang yung intercept na dumaan sila sa 0. Okay, so kapag i-substitute mo yung value na 0, 0 dun sa ating equation, you will notice that the y-intercept is equal to 0. Therefore, our equation now is y equal to m times x. M is the slope. Okay, so yung parameter natin dito is m or yung slope. Ibig sabihin, bawat value ng slope represents one line that passes through the origin. Nakuha? Nasundan nyo? Hello?
Opo.
Baka isipin nyo, ano ba yan si Sir? Nakakaantok yung boses ko. Sorry guys. Ang migraine ko kasi ay umaatake na naman. Okay, let's go. Now let's solve this one. Okay, dahil sa isa lang yung parameter natin, ibig sabihin, para mag-arrive tayo sa kanyang differential equation, we must differentiate this once. Okay, the resulting DE is a first order DE. Okay, so differentiating this, we have y prime equals derivative ng m times x is, you copy the constant, yung m dito is constant, derivative ng x is 1. Okay? So yun yung equation mo. Pero you need to eliminate, di ba, the arbitrary constants. As you notice, di ba, pwede mong gamitin yung first equation mo na y equal to mx para ma-solve mo yung m. M is equal to y over x. Okay, so you plug in the value of m equal to y over x dun sa ating final equation. So y prime is equal to y over x. So yun na yung final answer mo, or pwede mong i-arrange into a differential form. So y prime is equal to dy over dx, the Leibniz notation, and then cross multiply mo lang, so you have x dy, okay, equal to y times dx, or you can arrange into an mdx plus ndy na format, and that is y dx minus x times dy. equal to 0. Okay, so this is your final answer. Or pwede rin naman na kahit ito na yung magiging final answer mo. Pwede na yun. Acceptable na yun. Nakaganto lang na format kasi soon you will encounter differential equations in this format. Okay, or in this notation. Nasundan, guys? What if you noticed, or if naalala niyo sa differentiation, di ba? Di ba, tinuro naman sa inyo, di ba, yung rate of change, right? Or yung pagkuha ng slope gamit yung differentiation. Alam ba ninyo na yung slope, yung first derivative ng y with respect to x is equal to the slope? Did you know that? Hello?
Yes po.
Tao po. O, di ba? O, dun pa lang na idea. So, pwedeng dito pa lang sa umpisang equation, ipapasok mo na ngayon yung value, yung slope, di ba? Yung slope is y prime. No? So, yun lang yun. Alam mo na yung first derivative ni y with respect to x is equal to the slope. Kasi yung slope, ng formula ng slope ng line or slope of the curve, rise over run. Di ba? Change in y over change in x. No? Hello? So, I assume na alam nyo yan, na naalala pa ninyo. Okay, but if you want to help you recall, pwede naman. But anyway, so we're done with the first example. So ito na yung ating sagot dun sa given problem na finding the DE of the family of lines that passes through the origin. So pwedeng at a specific point, so kunyari may point ako na binigay, so madali lang din naman, baka sabihin nyo, ano ba yun? So hindi mo naman, yung example napakadali, tapos pagdating sa quiz, hindi naman ganyan yan eh. Anyway, so for example, ang babaguhin ko lang dito, yung similar problem, lahat passes through a certain point. Okay, pwede ako magbigay ng specific point like 1, 2. Ano ibig sabihin nito? So kapag ka-denowing natin yan, 1 represents, di ba, yung, itong 1, 2 is the coordinates, di ba? So 1 for x, 2 for y. So ito yung point na to na tinutukoy that passes through this point. So yan, lahat ng lines na dumaan sa point na yan. So ganun lang para mag-sketch. Ayan, tinuturo ko na sa inyo ha, yung mga possible na tanong. Okay? So paano kapag ganyan, sir? Ano bang gagamitin kong equation? Kasi madaming klase ng equation na pwedeng, depende kung ano yung appropriate, di ba? May slope-intercept.
Intercept form po.
May mga intercept form. Okay? So whichever is, di ba, more convenient to you na makita mo kaagad. So intercept form. Okay? So ganun lang. So maaaring magbago yung starting equation mo, basta alalahanin mo lahat ng mga equations ng curves. Okay? Dun sa mga conics, pati parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, circle, and so on and so forth. Okay? Any question? Guys? Kaya ba? Kaya.
Sana.
Sana all kaya. Kaya nyo yan, guys. Okay. Ilan ba kayo dito? 35. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, dahil tahimik lang kayo, naintindihan ninyong lahat, walang problema. Good. Okay, let me just erase the writings here. And let's proceed to the next slide, solving for the DE of all circles whose centers are at the x-axis. So what I will do first is I'm going to sketch. Yan, para alam ko kung ano yung, kunyari nakalimutan ko yung equation. So what you can see here are different, di ba, circles, di ba? Pero yung kanilang, ang common sa kanila is lahat ng circles na yan, nasa x-axis yung center. Okay? So another variation for this one is pwedeng tangent yung mga circles na yan. At another variation is yung lahat ng circle na yan are of the same radius. So pwedeng magkakapala sila ng size. Pero dito, iba-iba. So one parameter to consider here is the radius. Okay, so first, I'm going to write the equation of a circle kung saan yung center ay hindi sa origin or nasa HK. Okay, yung center ay nasa HK. Para malaman ko kung alin dyan yung fix or alin dyan yung isa sa mga parameters na kailangan kong i-consider. So as you can see, since nasa x-axis lahat ng center ng circle na to, ano yung fix dito or constant na? Yung value ni k, di ba? Dun sa y kasi 0. Ang nagbabago lang dito yung position, di ba, ni circle sa x-axis. So, constant na yung k natin na 0 siya. Tapos yung h natin, yun yung parameter na bawat value ni h ay may isang circle ka doon sa particular na point na yun dito or particular na yan, position here. Na-follow nyo guys? Baka sabihin nyo, ano ba yan? Alien talk si sir. Madali lang naman, di ba? Woohoo! Madali lang. Hindi ko kasi alam kung ano yung mga reaction ninyo kasi hindi ko na naman kayo nakikita. Yung iba kasi nakakunot noon na. Yung iba naman natutulog na. Okay, now let's proceed here. So, isa sa mga parameters ko dito is yung radius. Kasi magkakaiba nga sila. May maliit, may malaki na circle. So, yun yung mga possibilities for this particular problem. Okay, and then the h. One value of the h represents one circle. Okay, so ibig sabihin, dahil dalawa yung parameters ko, my equation should be, yan, x minus h plus k is 0, so maging y squared equal to r squared. So I have two parameters which are h and the radius, okay? H and r. So ano ibig sabihin nun? Mag-differentiate ako dalawang beses. Okay, para makuha ko yung differential equation nitong family of circles or all circles whose centers are at the x-axis. Okay, so now I have shown you here my result, the result of differentiating this equation. So ano lang yan, 2 times x minus h, derivative ni x minus h is 1, and then derivative ni y squared which is 2y prime, derivative ni r squared is, r is, ano yung r? Arbitrary constant, di ba? So derivative ng arbitrary constant or constant is 0. That's why nawala na yung r. Baka magtaka kayo, sir, nasaan yung r squared? Kasi yung iba, lalo na yung mga di pa siya nakagets or nakalimutan lang siguro, dinidifferentiate nila. So parang yun yung mga common mistakes nila. So ginawa nilang 2r. Yun, sorry. Mali na kaagad yun. Okay, let's proceed. So as you can see, may common tayo dito sa bawat term 2. So you can actually divide both sides by 2 or cancel that. Bago ka mag-proceed sa next na differentiation. Para makita mo, pwede mong ayusin muna before you can proceed. So x minus h plus y prime equal to 0. Then you proceed to differentiating it for the second time or final differentiation. So here you have the derivative of x is 1, derivative of h na constant is 0. And here the y prime is obtained yung derivative niyan by product rule. So y double prime plus y prime squared equal to 0. Bakit y prime squared? Kasi u dv. So copy mo yung y, derivative nito is y double prime plus copy mo yung y prime, derivative ng y is y prime. So y prime times y prime is y prime squared. Then, wala nang arbitrary constant dyan, di ba? So you need not to manipulate anymore, or you can arrange that, the final answer into this format. Y double prime plus y prime squared plus 1 equal to 0 is your differential equation for all circles whose centers are at the x-axis. Okay, that's it. Any questions? Now, another variation kanina nabanggit ko is that, wait lang. Exit ko lang yung ating PowerPoint so you can see. Okay. Let me just share to you the whiteboard here so I can write something. Now, di ba kanina, ang example natin, all circles na yung centers ay nasa x-axis. So what if naman, sir, nasa y-axis naman? So pwedeng ganun. Ayan. Okay, so can somebody give me the equation for this family of circles na yung center ay nasa y-axis? Anyone? Sige, isulat ko muna yung pinaka-equation kapag hk yung center. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared. So ano yung sure na parameter na dito, guys? Yung
X
radius, di
squared.
ba? So may radius ka na. Ano yung equation natin, kuya?
X squared plus y, quantity y minus k is equal to r squared.
Y minus k, ayan, raised to 2 equal to r squared. Okay. So tama naman, di ba? Kasi nga yung h mo is 0, di ba? 0 yung h mo. Tapos nung iba yung position niya, di ba? Doon sa y-axis mo kaya may value yung k. So the center for this particular condition or family of curves is 0, k. So dalawa yung parameters mo, k and r. So ibig sabihin, dalawang beses ka magdi-differentiate. Ito naman yung case na kapag nag-differentiate ka, okay, ang tandaan nyo ha, unknown function. Nandoon si k, so medyo challenging yung pagka-remove ni k dyan. Sige nga, gusto niyo bang gawin? Sige, gawin niyo to. Differentiate yun ng dalawang beses. Okay. Pause ko muna yung recording.